Welcome back. Shares of super microcomputers are plunging, as we showed you before the break, and as we show you right now as well. They're down more than 30%. The news is that Ernest Young has resigned as the company's auditor. The accounting firm has flagged concerns about several matters relating to Supermicro's governance, transparency, and completeness of communications. E&Y also says it was no longer able to rely on management's representations. For more, we're joined by Bloomberg's Brody Ford. Brody, thanks a lot for joining us. This is a big, big story. It's very safe to say nobody saw this coming. The stock wouldn't be down 31% if this was something that the market had an inkling of before today. Tell us more about what's going on.
So these are some words you never want to hear from your auditor, right? We are resigning because we no longer trust you. I mean, this is a huge step. The background here that we should all be aware of is that Supermicro, AI server maker, has had this massive run up in revenue this year, but there have been murmurs of issues, right? There was a short report from Hindenburg. The company itself delayed its annual financial filing, which is a very rare step for a company of this scale. And then we heard that the DOJ was investigating over accounting issues. And so while you're right that, this reaction is a big one, there have been some clues along the way that there was maybe some trouble brewing at this technology company.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that that information had seeped into the marketplace. Why do you think we have not seen a sell-off until now? We have seen a decline, certainly. That graph doesn't look like a typical a typical tech stock. Has the DOJ publicly acknowledged its probe?
I don't believe they have. I mean, Bloomberg reporting has, written about it, Wall Street Journal as well. Essentially, there was an employee earlier this year who was saying that Supermicro is working to somewhat inflate its revenue. And our understanding is that they were looking into those, allegations. I think folks are also a little more skeptical because in 2020, Supermicro ended up settling with the SEC over accounting issues. And so there has been just this kind of shroud of issues somewhat over this company in the last year or so that has made folks skeptical, so that when the revenue ramped incredibly in the AI era, people still were a little anxious about it. And today we're seeing really kind of the back end of that.
Has the company issued a statement on the Ernst & Young departure?
Yep, they said, we disagree with them leaving, but we're taking their concerns seriously. They said that they're going to have what they called a business update, not quite an earnings call, a week from today. And so we are definitely going to be awaiting to see what happens. I mean, the big question in these situations is always, is the company going to change their previous financials? They say no. They say that we stand by all of the reports we've put out. EY, in a very legalese way, said that they don't necessarily agree with that. They did not stand by the idea that Supermicro will not have to change from its previous financials. And so that's going to be the big question for investors a week from now is, have the numbers Supermicro been putting up, are they all up to par?
Brody, thank you a great deal for bringing us up to date on this story. That's Brody Ford at Bloomberg News on this.